Welcome to another time episode of Everything Sports with Aman and Evan. I'm your host, Evan Garber, and today I'm talking about the two major signings in sports yesterday. Of course, the first one being the Bucks hiring Doc Rivers as their head coach, replacing Adrian Griffin, and the Chargers hiring Jim Harbaugh as their new head coach as he leaves Michigan and heads to the NFL to go chase that Super Bowl ring that he has not yet had. We'll see if he can get it as a Charger, but make sure to comment down below your guys' takes on these two moves, as well as subscribe and like down below as well, and follow us on all the social media platforms so do not miss out on any of our content. But we're gonna start off with the Bucks hiring Doc Rivers, and of course I talked about this a little bit last episode on Tuesday, where the Bucks did fire Adrian Griffin, and it seemed like Doc Rivers was gonna be their head coach. They're gonna talk with Doc Rivers, and he seemed like the best candidate to fit their job. And I think yes, he is the best candidate to fit their job. I don't think you can really point to anyone else that's proven that was available for the Bucks to get, and I think that's what they need at this point. They need someone proven. They didn't want to go get some random guy or like promote someone from their staff currently. Like, they needed to get a proven guy in order to I wouldn't say flip this team around because the team obviously is pretty good, but to put this team in the right direction, put this team in a better direction than they were with Adrian Griffin, because things clearly just weren't perfect with Adrian Griffin. They I don't exactly know fully what happened with Adrian Griffin. Of course, we did hear some things about some locker room stuff, some practice stuff, some things going on between him and the players, as well as him and the other coaches. So Doc Rivers is now the new coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, and this move at first, yes, it seems very good because of his success of Doc Rivers being considered one of the best coaches of all time. But when you look at it really from the playoff standpoint, from what Doc Rivers has done in the playoffs, it kind of scratches your head because Doc Rivers has had very, very, very little success in the playoffs. Um, he's coached three teams that had blown a 3-1 lead in the playoffs. He has a 6-10 record in Game Sevens, most losses in a Game 7 by a coach in NBA history by far. 17-33 record in series clinching games, which is also the record for the most losses by a coach in that situation. Failed to reach the conference finals with the Sixers. Conference championship with the Clippers. Failed to get past second round with the Sixers. And then now the Bucks, they passed on Nick Nurse this offseason to now get his guy he replaced. I mean, I don't think you can point all of it on Doc Rivers. I mean, the team that he has right now with the Milwaukee Bucks is definitely, I would say, better than the teams he had with the Clippers and Sixers. Clippers, of course, they did have DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, and Chris Paul all in their prime, but none of them were top three player in the NBA. And I think you have Giannis, the top three player in the NBA. Things are a little bit different. And of course, Joel Embiid and then James Harden, that situation just didn't really work out. I don't think you can really fault that on Doc Rivers. Of course, you would hope that Doc Rivers would have been able to find a way for them to fit together well, but I don't think you can really point to that being a big, big, big issue. I don't think that's really fair on Doc Rivers' standpoint. But this definitely does raise a lot of concern. But I don't think I honestly think the Bucks are a different story here. The Bucks, of course, have had that championship success. They've already been to the finals before, and now you have Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo, which is probably, in my opinion, the best duo that Doc Rivers ever coached. Even Chris Middleton, you can add Chris Middleton in there, and maybe even the best trio that Doc Rivers has ever coached. So I think with this team, considering their history, Doc Rivers definitely is set up for a lot of success. I mean, in the regular season, he's been great, obviously. 1,097 wins and then 763 losses in the regular season. But in the playoffs, he's a 111 and 104, which obviously is not great. But I do think that despite everything that happened in the past, despite all of these records that he set, obviously not very good records, but all these records that he set in the NBA playoffs for losses, I think he kind of put that aside, the situation. I think that Doc Rivers is going to be able to make this team much better than Adrian Griffin did. And I think, considering where they are with Adrian Griffin, where they were with Adrian Griffin, I think that when you add Doc Rivers into that mix now, this team should get even better. I think that they will contend, of course, with the Celtics, with the Sixers, like they always do these previous years. I don't think it'll really be an issue that Doc Rivers has not had much success in the playoffs because I think that they already have the experience. The players do, and I don't think that Doc Rivers really intentionally lost those playoff series. I don't think anyone would, honestly. And I think that considering everything that he has right now with the Bucks, um, when you compare it to the things he had with the Sixers, things he had with the Clippers, I think this Bucks team is set up for much, much more success, and I think that he'll be just fine as the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. Moving on in the NFL world, though, we got Jim Harbaugh going to the Los Angeles Chargers, or whatever you want to call them. It's not Los Angeles Chargers, but this is an absolutely great deal for both sides. Uh, Harbaugh now puts himself in a winnable situation with a franchise quarterback, and he is really the only option for him. I believe that made a whole lot of sense, because I would think that he would want a team that has a good direction. What the Chargers do, and despite their lack of success last season, this past season, whatever it is, but and he also has a lot of personnel control, which we wouldn't have at any other team. The Chargers are looking, of course, for their GM, so being able to add Jim Harbaugh and giving him that power to find that GM, and I think that'll definitely set them up for success for sure. And the great thing I like about this move is that Harbaugh has been able to turn so many teams around. When you look at all his teams that he's turned around, all the teams that he's coached, he's turned around every single team that he's coached, literally. Took the University of San Diego team that not won double-digit games and got them their second and third seasons. And then took a 1-11 Stanford team to a winning record in year 3 and 12-1 record in year 4. The Niners, they were absolutely in a pit hole. They were so, so, so bad before he came in, turned them around, and revived Alex Smith's career. And then, of course, they took the Michigan team to the national championship this year. They were 5-7 the year before he came in, and took them to a 10-win team. And then, of course, like I said, won the national championship this season. And I just really, really like this move because Chargers definitely needed some of this experience, and they got that now with, of course, with Jim Harbaugh. Had so much experience, of course, with the Niners in the NFL, and he's really a winner. I think he really needed that winning attitude and the winning atmosphere in the locker room because this team has so many great pieces. Of course, they have Austin Eckler, they have Justin Herbert, they have Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. The offense has so many good pieces, and the defense as well. They have Derwin James, Asante Samuel, Khalil Mack, so many, Joey Bosa, so many great players on both sides of the football, but just haven't been able to put together. And I think when you have now bring in this winning attitude, they'll be able to rally around the winning coach Jim Harbaugh, and hopefully they'll be able to put things together because they have so much talent on this team. That's why I picked him to win the Super Bowl last year in the playoffs because this team has so much talent. They just have not been able to put together, and I think you have to put that a lot on Brandon Staley, of course. And now you bring in Jim Harbaugh, who has been able to turn everyone around that he's coached. I think that this is due for such great success with Los Angeles Chargers, and I'm really glad that he didn't take the Atlanta Falcons job because I don't think it would really made a whole lot of sense for him to go to Atlanta Falcons. He might have been able to figure something out with Desmond Ritter, but I don't think it's a great situation to be in if you're Jim Harbaugh, if you want to chase a ring. Of course, you have some great young talent, but the quarterback situation is pretty pitiful there, and I don't think it would have made a whole lot of sense. Same with Bill Belichick. I don't think Bill Belichick should go to the Falcons because of the lack of quarterback success. And I think that Bill Belichick, considering where he is in his career, considering how old he is, I think he has to go find a team that can win a ring. And obviously the Chargers would have been probably the best bet for him if he wants to win that ring. But we'll see where he goes now, Definitely gonna be interesting to see where he goes because there's not a whole lot of options right now where he can go and win a ring in a couple years. Maybe you can say the Falcons, but even then, the quarterback situation is not looking very good. Um, I mean, of course, it would have made a good story if Jim Harbaugh did, in fact, go to the Atlanta Falcons, did, in fact, draft J.J. McCarthy, and was able to turn the Falcons around, make them into the team that everyone thought they were going to be, considering they had Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London on their team. But, I mean, yeah, like I said, this Chargers team is due for so much success, I believe. Um, of course, it's going to be tough competing with the teams like the Chiefs, like the Bengals, like the Bills, like the Ravens. I mean, it's going to be very tough for them to win the division at first, and then also maybe in sticking to the wild card, honestly, because of all those teams, and then of course the Texans as well too. So Texans are going to be absolutely great. So the AFC is just absolutely stacked. It's going to be very tough for them to get through the whole gauntlet, but I think this is definitely a step in the right direction for them. Definitely need to add more pieces in the offseason. We'll see what they do with Austin Eckler. I think they should keep him, honestly, but we'll see about that. Maybe got to move his money and charge Joshua Kelly. Joshua Kelly's honestly looked pretty solid, so maybe you keep Joshua Kelly and running back and figure things out around him. But man, oh man, I love this move a whole lot for the Los Angeles Chargers. Hoping for their success. I mean, I'm a big Herbert fan, so hopefully they're able to have success. But with that, that is the end of the episode. Make sure, like I said, to comment down below your guys' takes on these moves, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.